All
Hello and
right.
welcome to the Gunnar Vibe. It's been a long time since we have spoken with Varun.
Hey,
Welcome to
Arun.
the Gunnar Vibe. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Lots of familial changes on both sides. So I think we have taken a little bit of a backseat on
Yeah,
on our Gunnar Vibe chats, but good to be back.
I won against Sporting. I would have taken a 1-1 draw or any type of a draw against a very impressive Sporting side. Everyone has been talking about their team. They lost their coach this past couple of weeks, Amarim, and but they still have a really good side. What did you think about the game, and what was your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I think my reaction was they're not going to be as tactical as, they were against City. I mean, that was my first initial feeling going into the game. But I wasn't, of course, expecting a 5-1. Like, I was like, maybe a 2-0 or a 1-0 just to get the 3 points, I think was important because now if you see the Champions League table is kind of shaking out to its, the first eight and then the rest of the 16. So first of all, it's good to be back within the eight. I think we were like kind of outside of that, and I think this win was super important. And of course, the manner we did it, I think that is the Arsenal we want to see. And I'm glad that we are starting to pick up the form that we should have been in the past. But again, there's a long season, as you said, better now than never. And I feel like Champions League might be our outlet this season, if at all, like Premier League doesn't go our way.
Yeah,
So very important to be in the mix in the Champions League and also being within the top eight so that we avoid that extra game or like extra 2 games, I think.
yeah, and it's a playoff, so you never know which team will come our way. It could be a
Yeah,
PSG, it could be a Real Madrid, and you don't want to play them in the knockout phases.
right.
So yeah, top eight, less number of games going into the January, February time would be ideal. But 3-0 in the first half is from the get go, at least for the first 5 minutes that I managed to watch the game, was really impressive. They were pressing high, not giving enough space for their fullbacks to go up. I kept seeing them pump the ball to Gyökeres and Saliba or Gabriel cleaning up and Partey starting the attack. What did you think about the starting? There's a little bit about rotation to start with, and
Yeah.
what do you think
First of
about
all,
the
I think,
aggressive nature of pressing?
yeah, I think the rotation helped over the weekend, especially Martinelli and Havertz getting a breather. They look super fresh, and of course, they got the first two goals. And I think also, Timber being back at his best. And I think the triangle between Timber, Odegaard, and Saka on the right was actually super amazing. And I think those are the ones that created the first two goals. So I think that combination, Timber at right back. I know like Ben White has been a reliable, right back since he's been with us. But I think Timber offers that pacey dribbling and like things. I mean, like Ben White is more stable, but I feel Timber has made his position, that position his own, and I think he created those two goals, or at least his pace helped us create those two goals. And uh, and yeah, I mean, Odegaard again showed us why we missed him like for the last 5 games or 8 games. And I think this team looks more stable. And I think also Partey has been more of himself, the injury-free Partey, which kind of gives us that base stability. And we did see some unsettled, like starting 11 when Merino was in, right? I think he's also new. But I think this is our original starting 11, like from last season. And I think all of them being back at the same time. The only difference I saw is, that is instead of Tomiyasu, it's Calafiori, or maybe like, the left-sided Zinchenko. But Calafiori has made that position his own. And I think this is like our strongest 11. And even our bench looks strong today, which was awesome to see. And otherwise, we are very thin in numbers. But I think team selection was good, rotation was good. I think it was needed, and I think Havertz and Martinelli look more fresh. Otherwise, they run a lot, so I felt like that rest kind of helped them to come back, and like fresh and like score those two goals.
Yeah, and obviously you talked about this how we are in the top eight a little bit before. We with that 3 goals, obviously we also have that better goal difference. Second half started within a couple of minutes they scored. That goal difference went down. But did you at any time felt like this is like there is going to be a chance where maybe Sporting will come back.
Yeah, I think right after that first goal went in, I think that 10 minutes in the second half, we looked a little um, pale. Like we didn't look as, where we were in the first half. But I think those were just the waves of attack that Sporting, took up to themselves. Like, and like they got one goal and they almost came back. I think there were lots of shots on goal. Raya made a couple of great saves. One from, I think, the midfielder, the captain, and a couple of other folks kind of like took long range efforts. But I think apart from those 15 minutes, like 45 to minute 60, that's the only spell they had. But after that, I mean, the first 45 minutes we were just cruising. Then the 15 minutes was a pause, or like we were on the back foot. But then again, from minute 60 to 90, I think we were again dominant. So I mean, we were having the upper hand, even though we were like when we conceded that goal. And we had actually more chances. I mean, we could have even gone a couple of more goals. But I think net, it was a great game to come back to, and also kind of beat the team that beat Man City just like the last game week. And I think, as you said, very crucial for us to improve that goal differential. Because if you see our first four games, I think we scored like two goal, 0-0, 2-0, 1-0, and then a like 1-0 like loss. So I think that was a much well deserved win, and like I think that goal difference is going to help us to stay in the top eight.
We scored two more goals to make a better goal difference and get us back to top eight. We also rested some players. We saw Waneri come back. Zinchenko get his chance. I think we saw Merino come and Sterling come at the end. Were you surprised not to see Jesus get a chance?
Uh, Maybe it would have been tactical. I think we didn't need more goals. But maybe, again, maybe at that point of time, Arteta is already having his mind set on the West Ham game, which, coming again like very fast on Saturday. And I think maybe that game, I feel maybe he's going to start. Maybe he'll go back to that same 11 like during the weekend. And as needed, he's going to bring on the players that we want. And I think Rice didn't seem 100% even today, even though I think he seemed like he was carrying an injury and he was just playing through. Maybe we'll see some rotation again over the weekend, but again, absolutely crucial to get that win. And I think we already like got the result mentally when we were 5-1. So I think he's like, let me not even bring players in and like, maybe risk an injury and things like that. So I think he just kept his cards as is.
Yeah, the reason I asked was obviously we haven't seen Jesus score a lot of goals this year, and maybe a goal would have, especially with Arsenal already dominating, like you mentioned, the last
Yeah.
30 minutes of the game, Arsenal dominated and could have scored more goals. Jesus being there would have given them some confidence going into a busy period. So
Yeah.
we need everyone firing. We cannot just afford to have a couple of players playing really well. It was really good to see five different scorers in this game rather than just Saka or
Yeah.
Martinelli or Odegaard scoring those goals. So overall, definitely a plus. Going into this weekend's game, West Ham beat Newcastle yesterday away from home.
Yep.
Have not had the best of seasons. They have a new coach, but it seemed to me that they have turned the corner a little bit against Newcastle side, which seem to have either lost confidence or lost a couple of players. Both Willock and
Yeah.
Gimash got injured, but I thought West Ham was really good.
Yep.
What did you feel this being an away game for Arsenal going into the London Stadium and playing against
Yeah,
what
I
we would
actually
call an
watched that
informed team?
game. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I watched that game yesterday just to keep an eye on our next opponent. And actually, West Ham looked pretty solid. And I was actually surprised that the Newcastle side that showed up yesterday was the same side that beat us. Of course, a couple of players in. But I think Bruno is one of their top, cleanup acts in the midfield, and I think they missed him yesterday. And this West Ham team is a very physical team. Uh, they are like big guys there. Uh, but I am still confident. I think it might be a closer game, maybe a 2-1. Like, it might not be a blowout like how we had last season, which was a 6-0. But I feel the game might be closer, but I think between us and West Ham, I think we actually need the win badly, right? Compared to West Ham, and we just need to go there and do our job. I mean, it's been a familiar hunting ground for us. I mean, we've had good results 3 out of 4 seasons, except for that one season where Rice was actually playing for them and we conceded those 2 goals where we kind of threw away the title. But I think the team has learned from that, and I feel like with what they're seeing of Man City, I think this should be a fuel for the players to go and chase them down. In this case, Liverpool. But seeing City's downfall should spur us to go on and like challenge Liverpool because this is a golden opportunity. City being down is like golden opportunity for Liverpool and Arsenal. And I would rather battle Liverpool than battle Man City again because Liverpool I feel are more human. Like they can drop points, as you said. There's a long list of fixtures to go and a lot of tough away games for them still to play. And I think they are coming like next 3 games for them are crucial. And I think they are going to drop some points. But I think the games against Man City, I mean, tomorrow Real Madrid in Champions League, going into Sunday, and then next week they play Tottenham. So I hope something happens. Or actually, not next week. It's actually a Wednesday game on the 4th, I think 4th or 5th. I think this is our window of opportunity. There could be a 6 point swing with Liverpool, or maybe at least a 4 point swing is what I'm hoping. One loss and one draw. And we need to go and finish the job both against West Ham and again, we shouldn't let Man United have that new manager bounce, and we should probably go and dispatch them. At least at the Emirates, I'm confident that we can definitely do that. Because Ipswich again showed us all the frailties that Man United have, and I think we need to get those 2 wins. I think next 2 games is very crucial.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely those games coming up next weekend is going to be really interesting because we talked about the West Ham game. Arsenal are 11 on points with Chelsea, who are playing against Aston Villa. Aston Villa has not really been in good form, but we would hope that they can at least nick a point against Chelsea. We also talked about the Man City,
Yeah,
Liverpool Man City game. So it's a crucial weekend, I would say, at least for Arsenal to get back to getting that short change against Liverpool a little
yeah,
more than it is.
yeah.
It's already if Liverpool wins, I think I think this is going to be difficult to catch. I won't say it's impossible. Like I said before we started chatting, that
Yeah.
this is 1/3 of the season gone. We still have a lot of games to play. And this is the crucial part of the season where there is so many games coming thick and fast, and injuries are going to be rampant. People or teams are going to lose form, especially during the festive period. We have seen majority of teams lose surprisingly. Last season we saw
We
Arsenal lose
ourselves.
against
Yeah.
West Ham and Fulham, so it's not unheard of. So it's there is going to be chances for all the teams in the top 4 or top 5, at least this calendar year, and to go into 2025. If we can maybe wrap up this
Yeah.
conversation, what do you feel would be the ideal points tally for Arsenal in the next 10 games, starting this weekend?
I mean, I looked at the fixtures all the way till February 1st, which is when we play Man City. They all look winnable to me,
Hmm.
right? They all look winnable. Again, also looking at the 3 Champions League game on top, like Monaco home, Dinamo Zagreb home, and Girona away. Girona is totally out of form. Dinamo Zagreb, we can definitely get the result. I mean, if we can get this one Champions League game out of the way before end of the year, dispatch Monaco at home, I think all the Premier League fixtures say it's impossible, but it's definitely winnable. There are a couple of tricky fixtures, like West Ham away, Fulham away, Crystal Palace away. I think 3 London derbies. But I feel we drop the ball on we have already lost so many points before these games. If we drop any points further, it's not that Liverpool are running away with it. It's Arsenal have we have thrown away the opportunity. So my ideal situation, long story short, by Christmas I want us to be just around 4 to 5 points behind Liverpool, or even maybe closer. But I'm saying ideally, if we could get that gap to like 5 points or like 4 points, it's perfect because we play Liverpool actually the third last game of the season, and we play City once, and City play Liverpool once, right? So there is a 9 point swing definitely in those 3 games in the second half. But for Arsenal to be in the mix, really, if it could be maintained around like 5 points by Christmas or like end of the year, regardless of whatever, if we get all 10 wins, of course that's ideal, but if not, just keep Liverpool within 5 points, and I think we have a great opportunity.
Okay. Well, one last question is probably controversial. Does Arsenal sign a striker in January?
Should we? I'm not sure. I heard rumors about Evan Ferguson being available on loan from Brighton. Uh, Gyökeres today kind of auditioned, right? Maybe not for the January transfer window, but for the summer. But see Arsenal doing anything in winter. I mean, unless we have some major injuries to keep players. But again, if Arsenal could pull off something like a Victor Osimhen from Galatasaray or something like that, I'm saying that there is high likelihood that we will have that edge, going into the last few fixtures of the season. But we are fine as of now. It's only those few games where we cannot get out of jail. We need that person who unlocks those defenses. And I think we are still missing a striker. I'm still in that camp. I know we and you debate a lot. Ideally, if we get a great striker, that'll be amazing. Or like the shock deal I was reading about is Jesus and Isaac swapped between Newcastle. But I'm not sure if it's going to happen in January. It might be more of a summer deal.
Yeah. I'm hoping that Arsenal do sign a player. I'm not so confident it's going to be a striker. I get a feeling that it's going to be a winger. We already heard about. I think it's Arda Güler from Real Madrid, who's available and known. Kind of similar stature as Odegaard.
Right? Yeah.
So, and we already saw Odegaard not being there, how big a hole that is. So having a creative player in the mix definitely helps. I think we have enough quality in our front lines to get goals. Yeah, to your point, there might be games where we might be lacking and we may need a striker who can convert. Gyökeres is the striker, I feel.
I feel
We
he's
need to
amazing.
sign.
Yeah.
I don't think there is any other strikers who are that good. Gyökeres have actually consistently done that through the years. So at least for the past 3 years, he's scored a lot of goals and assists.
And hasn't he reached around 20 goals already this season? I mean, I think he's already. We need that 20 to 30 goal striker, right? I mean, the team that we have is amazing, but imagine adding that striker on top of it. We are going to be unstoppable, right? So I think why are we putting the handbrake where we can actually go, across the line? But yeah, if Gyökeres comes in, I think that's like our number one target. If he could join us in the summer, even in the summer, but like if he comes early, that's just gonna be a great boost for us.
And just to wrap up, I've just put in a controversial statement by saying that Arsenal will not be signing Gyökeres next summer. Arsenal might sign Benjamin Sesko instead. I feel Man United might go in and sign Gyökeres because
that's a great point. I mean, because of his manager, but like I mean, I've also on the contrary heard that his mentor, who's Andreas Limpar, who was actually an ex-Arsenal player, is pushing him to go to the Gunners. So who knows, right? As you said, we'll see. Another day, another discussion to have. But for today, let's enjoy this 5-1. Let's go into the weekend hoping for the win, and let's hopefully come out with a win, and then we are one step closer, and let's hope for the Liverpool City draw. So fingers crossed.
Let's hope for all that. Thanks, Varun, again. If you guys like the discussion that we had, please comment and join us on some of these discussions. We would really appreciate you also subscribing and liking our channel as well. But until the weekend, thanks, Varun.
Thank you so much, Arun, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.